Walker caught it somehow.
The Cowboys OT is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Sleep Number. The Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
It was a week full of grit, resiliency, and a little bit of heartbreak, despite the Dallas Cowboys coming out on top 37-34 in Week 5 of the 2020 NFL season. They take down the Giants and get their first divisional win of 2020 in the process. Welcome in to Cowboys OT, everybody. I'm Kyle Youmans, live from the Star in Frisco, joined by a trio of former Dallas Cowboys, Barry Church, Nate Newton, and Isaiah Stanback. And it is a win for the Cowboys, win number 2 of the 2020 campaign in the Mike McCarthy era. However, Isaiah, it came at a hefty price. Dak Prescott goes down in the third quarter. That's really the main story of this one. You had a 34-yard game-winning kick from Greg Zuerlein to win it at the end of regulation, but Dak Prescott out for seemingly a good amount of time.
Yeah, it's never a good thing whenever your starting quarterback goes down. I sincerely feel for Dak. I've been there personally, where I've had 2 season-ending injuries before, so I understand how his mental is right now, and I want to send prayers up for him and his family. But for this organization, kudos to Will McClay and the Joneses for preparing for a situation such as this by going out and getting Andy Dalton, a starting quarterback in this league, and having him be your backup. It was your insurance policy. It really sucks for this team, but it really sucks for Dak as well. Not only for his injury, but for his foreseeable future, because this was his franchise tag year.
Yeah, it's a big year for Dak. It's a big year for this team to try to turn it around. Game was very uneven. We let New York stay in this game by a few turnovers, not being consistent. Our defensive line, once again, we have struggles there. So, great loss with a bad loss with Dak, and there ain't much I'm gonna say as a player. When they showed it, I just turned my head. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was an ugly injury, and you just hate to see something like this happen. The heart and soul of your team. This is like a dagger right here. It deflates a lot, and like you said, you got the win, but at what cost? You lost your franchise quarterback and the leader of this team, and so it's a sobering victory. But overall, it's time for Andy Dalton to go up there and step it up. We know he can do that. He did it in Cincinnati. So for me, it's time for him to step it up. But thoughts and prayers go out to Dak Prescott.
Yeah, all of our thoughts and prayers from anybody in the building and around this Dallas Cowboys team heading to the Prescott family as well. And really, Andy Dalton did step up. He came in and threw 9 of 11. You saw some of the powerful images. That was a tough situation for this team to come back. And the Giants made it tougher by going down, driving, taking a lead at 34-31 in that fourth quarter. But you saw some of the resiliency from this Cowboys team yet again. Their second come from behind victory. This time it was just led by number 14 rather than number 4. Isaiah.
Yeah, Andy Dalton is a baller in this league. Let's not get it confused. Simply because he took this position as a backup quarterback, he is a starter in this league and a very respectable one. You expect nothing else but for him to come in and manage his game the way in which he did. He was efficient. He didn't make any mistakes. He's an accurate passer. He continued that on today, and you saw how he finished the game off, getting the ball into the hands of his playmaker, Michael Gallup. This is what you wanted when you brought him in if you face a situation like they're in right now.
You just have to keep playing. Yes, the offense changed just slightly with Dalton, but like you say, he's a veteran guy. He knows the offense. He came in and took command of it. He checked when he needed to, and he found Michael Gallup, baby. And that's all you need to do.
He did. He found Michael Gallup, and what impressed me a lot about this man is his ball placement. You said it all during the game, Isaiah. His ball placement was unbelievable. He was dropping dimes left and right where only his players can catch it. There was no balls that could have been intercepted by the Giants. He put his ball placement amazing. So for me, I was extremely impressed with that. Hopefully he can keep that momentum going forward, because we all know this Dallas Cowboys offense is going to need it.
Yeah, the defense needs any help they can get from that offense as well. And we'll talk about that defense coming up on the other side of the break. Was this their best performance of 2020? We'll talk about it next when we come back with more Cowboys OT. Back here with more Cowboys OT following a 37-34 win over the New York Giants as they improved to 2-3 on the 2020 season. And it was a little bit rough going for the defense early on against this Giants offense that had been struggling, guys, heading into Week 5 of the NFL season. 300 total yards for the Giants in this one, and they got down 17-3 early on. But Isaiah, you could really argue that the defense was the one that turned the tide early.
Yeah, the defense turned the tide. I mean, but before we get to the positives for the defense, I mean, this is a problem. I mean, it's being flat out. This is a problem. This defense allowed a team that had only scored 3 touchdowns coming into the 5th game of the season, and all of a sudden you let them score 34 points. We talked about the defensive line numerous times about them needing to show up and have a presence with all the guys that we have on this roster, and they just continue to get disrespected. They continue to get driven off the ball 4, 5, 6 yards off the ball, and these offensive linemen getting up on top of these linebackers. The secondary played a little bit better. They played a little bit better. You guys still have some inexperienced guys out there, but at least they're fighting hard. This front seven looks like they're just collecting a check right now, and it's disappointing.
But you got to be able to see the light. I've been on 1 and 15 teams, 3 and 13 teams. D-Law, thank you, man.
Yeah.
You got us a strip sack. Thank you, Antonio Brown. You played hard. You came back off a rib injury to IR. You played hard. The defense as a whole play hard. Yes, it is. We have to play better than Terry Poe. We have to play better, Tyrone Griffin. But you know what? They started. They won the game. They got through it. They got some plays.
Yeah, overall, I do think this was one of the better performances we've seen from the defense. Like I said, I'm not impressed with what I've seen with that front defensive line. They were still getting pushed back entirely too much. But I will say I liked what I saw from Jalen Smith today.
Yes.
He looked like he was flying around a little bit. He got a couple of his patented swipes in there. He made a lot of big-time stops out there, him and Joe Thomas. You know what? I had my reservations about Joe coming into this season, but he's been bringing the wood out there. And we saw a lot today where he was thumping cats. So I'm impressed with both of those guys. Like you said earlier, the secondary played a little bit more sticky today. There was a lot of situations where there was no pressure, but the stickiness of that secondary allowed that defensive line to get an extra second or two in at Daniel Jones. And like you said, D-Law went in there, got him a strip sack, fumble. Anthony Brown came in, Alpha IR scooped it up and scored. And look, overall, I think the defense played their best game so far this season. We just hope that it continues that way, but we're going to have to step it up on the D-line.
Got to get more pressure. You ended up with 3 sacks in that game. And really the question coming in was, could you force a takeaway? And they did. They forced the 1 takeaway, and luckily for the Cowboys, it ended up in the Anthony Brown scoop and score after the strip sack from Demarcus Lawrence. But I kind of want to stick with the linebackers a little bit. It didn't start pretty for Jalen Smith either. He got better as the game went along. You could say really the same thing for the secondary as well. But Isaiah, whenever you look at what Jalen Smith was able to do late in that game, he made some plays for you when he really needed it.
Yeah, he stepped up, and you saw his confidence build throughout the game, right? And he started off, and they were using his aggression against him, just like many of the teams that we faced to date have done. So, I mean, he came along, right? He came along, and you started seeing him being able to play downhill, and I think he was able to start playing downhill because the line got better. The line did get better, right? I don't want to make it sound all bad. They did start playing better at a certain point in the game. You can see their confidence building and start heading towards that line that you really expect with this roster. And when that happens, your linebackers get freed up. So he did a heck of a job coming. You got the energy going. Again, as I mentioned in the pregame show, this team works off of swag, right? So you need that energy. You need that energy bus rolling, and he started to bring that.
The one thing this New York team hasn't done that other teams done, not a lot of motion.
Nope.
So these guys can line up and come down here. They knew their gaps. They knew where they were supposed to be. But lack of motion, lack of movement, creativity, Jason Garrett, allowed these guys to free. And I hate to bring that up in a negative way, but I love you, bro. I played with you.
Isaiah, I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one. They played with a lot of juice. They played with a lot of swagger out there. You saw guys flying around. I mean, the game looked like it slowed down for this defense. I mean, on the early part, they were getting, pushed around a little bit, but towards the end, you just saw that juice, that flair that we've been waiting for this whole season. I mean, that's what we had a couple years ago. Splash plays by D-Law, splash plays by Jalen Smith. So for me, they need to continue doing that, and hopefully this is the momentum that we can ride the rest of the season.
Yeah, you need to see improvement from the defense as a whole because you've got Arizona coming to town after a long week, Monday Night Football coming up this week. But the offense continued to show that they're one of the best in the country, and the reason why, well, another historic day from C.D. Lamb. We'll talk about this offense and how they were able to come out with a 37-34 win. Cowboys over the Giants. More coming up on Cowboys OT. Just getting started here on Cowboys OT after the Dallas Cowboys get win number 2 in the Mike McCarthy era, 37-34 over the New York Giants. Kyle Youmans with you alongside a trio of former Dallas Cowboys. And guys, news coming in just a couple moments ago, Dak Prescott, a compound fracture and a dislocation. He will be having surgery tonight. And of course, this is a huge blow for the Cowboys, especially whenever Isaiah, he had the offense rolling prior to the injury.
Yeah, he was doing a great job. The offense was rolling. They were continuing their the momentum they've carried out throughout this season, which is they can't be stopped, right? Unfortunately, they weren't getting the run game like we wanted, of course, but in terms of Dak and controlling his team and moving the chains, they were doing that efficiently. And it's just sad to see him go down, but this offense continued once Andy Dalton came in the game, right? Which is a testament to let you know that this is not just about Dak, right? This is about the efficiency of Kellen Moore and his play calling as well as they continue to find the gaps in these zone defenses.
I mean, you see the young 88 man come up and make some big plays early. They, for some reason, they couldn't find Amari, and Zeke was running hard, catching the ball, holding on to the ball. So they were rolling with your boy Dak, and then just great things were happening.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how much depth we have on this offense. I mean, the receivers, like you said, we didn't get much out of Cooper today, but Wilson was able to step it up. We saw what CD Lamb can do out there. He's emerging as one of the better receivers in this league, so I'm excited to what he can do going forward with this offense. And then that quarterback, Andy Dalton, came in here, didn't miss a stride. He was throwing dimes all over the place. So for me, this offense picked up right where Dak Prescott left off.
Yeah, Dak Prescott able to throw the rock around pretty well and spread it around well throughout the course of the game. 14 of 21, 166 yards. He did have that one interception off of the high throw and the tip drill that ended up being returned for a touchdown. But overall, I really do think Dak Prescott was picked up later on, and this offense was picked up later on by those receivers. It's a strength of your team, and C.D. Lamb, another historic day for the rookie. 8 receptions, 124 yards. He becomes the second player in NFL history to start his career his first 5 games of his career with at least 5 or more receptions. He really is starting to turn into that number 1 receiver, even with Amari Cooper still on the roster here, Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, he's fulfilling the role that they have for him, right, which is be a consistent slot receiver. He has 2 dogs on the outside that have that go juice, right? You got Cooper and you got Gallup. And anytime you have 2 guys that can threaten the deep portion of the secondary, you're always going to have a guy that has an opportunity to find gaps in the coverage. And he is doing just that. For whatever reason, teams continue to play the Dallas Cowboys in these zone defenses, and the offensive line is providing time for the quarterback to deliver the ball. And CD is simply a mastermind at this point of finding the holes in these gaps and in these defenses.
As you saw as the game went on and our guy Dak went out, you saw that Zeke picked it up just a little bit. The next drive, it was about Zeke. Zeke took it in for about a 20-yard score. You saw Tony Pollard become a little bit more, trying to get Andy Dalton into a rhythm. And once they got him into the rhythm, then Gallup took over. Y'all know that's my boy. That is nothing but the truth.
That is your boy, man. But for me, C.D. Lamb, I mean, he's looking like a vet out here. He's so quarterback friendly in that slot position. I mean, for that slot, you got to know all the ins and outs of the zones and where you can open up yourself for the quarterback. And he's doing a remarkable job at that slot. I hope they keep him there going forward. But like you said, Michael Gallup, I mean, that dude is emerging before our eyes. No matter what happened, no matter what DB is on him on those deep balls, he seems to come down with it. I mean, no matter who's on him. So he's emerging as a true number 1 here, and I'm excited for both of these receivers.
Some of the offensive numbers today, 276 yards through the air. That's a minuscule number from what we've seen, but the number that counts is the one in the win column. But you see rushing as well. Guys, really quickly, how big of an impact did Ezekiel Elliott have today, Nate, that really allowed this Cowboys team to have more success on offense?
It was big. You saw the way Zeke was running. I mean, running hard, leaning forward. And you saw when Tony Pollard came in, catching the ball, making people miss, getting first down. So that was big. And once again, Coach Philbin, I don't want to forget you, bro. We playing with a makeshift line. Great job.
More to come here on Cowboys OT as we continue to break down this 37-34 Dallas Cowboys win, number 2 of the 2020 season, when we come back with more here from the Star. $105 yards and 2 scores for Ezekiel Elliott in the 37-34 win. And let's hear from RB1 after the game.
How tough is it just to realize that you're not going to have Dak, it looks like, for the rest of the year?
I mean, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Honestly, I know we won, but it just sucks to lose Dak, our leader. And I was talking to the guys. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to fill that void that we're going to be missing from 4. And we just got to go out there and play for him.
What was the message after he immediately went down and you guys had to regroup? Andy Dalton's in the game. What was the message to the guys about focusing, trying to put that behind you from now and get the win?
Grabbed the O-line, told them that the game's going to be on us. We're going to have to grind it out a little bit, and they were up to the challenge. Open up that big hole to get us in the end zone that drive, but. It just told the group of guys that it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us. We're all going to have to make a play to make sure we go win this for 4, and that's what happened. We all did.
How tough was it? Can you even imagine what Dak is feeling right now, Zeke? Can you imagine what Dak is feeling?
No, I can't. I can't. But I'm going to support him. I'm going to be here for him. We all are. This whole team will, and we're going to go play for him.
How tough was it to refocus like that, Zeke, even though you're one of the ones delivering the message? How tough is it to do that in that situation?
It's really hard. Like I said, just losing our leader, losing 4, he means so much to this team. So it's hard, but we knew we had to go out there and do it for him.
Of course, it was an emotional day for Ezekiel Elliott, along with a lot of this Cowboys team. Isaiah, whenever you look at the win today, it took everybody. It was a team win and the definition of the term, but it's going to have to be that moving forward, and you really saw that in the run game a little bit.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's going to continue to take a team effort. You don't have that dog that's going to sit back there and throw the ball 57, 60 times a game anymore. So you have to become more balanced in your approach. You have to become more balanced. You have to continue to run the ball. They got better with the run today, right? Running for almost 91 yards with just Zeke alone. But you saw guys being more physical. You saw Zeke really trying to punish people at the end of runs, dipping the shoulder, leaning the head forward, really trying to hammer it home. You saw tight ends and receivers staying on blocks, running blocks all the way through the sideline. That is what is going to be required of these guys to continue to have a success going forward after a win today.
Yeah, I mean, we got back to that formula. We got back to that ground and pound and let Zeke wear down defenses. I mean, you saw the forward lean he had today. It was amazing. I mean, he was able to just pound this rock and get these guys down. And with the offensive line that we have out there, this makeshift, this patchwork offensive line, you've got to let those guys be aggressive. You can't have them sit back and protecting all day, every day. I mean, they got to let their emotions out. They got to let their physicality out. And I think we did a great job with that, giving Zeke 20 touches, letting those guys impose their will on this New York team. So for me, we got to get that formula continue to roll in as we get going this year. And
as it goes on, it's going to be about Zeke. It's going to definitely be about Zeke. And so you got to let him go. I mean, they had 126 yards altogether, and we got to start taking control of the game in possession. Time of possession will save our defense. If we can get around 30, 31 minutes, we can take control of the game and give our defense a better shot.
Yeah, he had 91 yards on the ground in the win, 14 through the air. But really quickly here, Barry, whenever you come to the offensive line, and Nate, I know you mentioned it earlier as well, the story right now isn't the fact that Terrence Steele was replaced. You had that makeshift offensive line actually play quite well.
Yeah, I think they actually did a great job. I think they were able to go out there and impose their will when it came to the run. We saw, Zeke averaged 4.6 yards a run. So these guys were doing their job out there. And I felt like for the most part, there was a couple leaks here and there, but I felt like they did a great job in pass protecting, especially when Andy Dalton came in the game. We know he's not as mobile as Dak, and they were able to keep him upright and they were able to keep him going. So for me, this offensive line did a great job.
It was a grinded out type of win for the Cowboys, and Ezekiel Elliott was a big part of that. Mike McCarthy was a big part of that too, and he's also going to be a big part of the plan moving forward without Dak Prescott, seemingly without Tristan Hill as well. We hear from the head coach following his second win of his Dallas Cowboys tenure right after this. It took a nervous ending again to a Dallas Cowboys win at AT&T Stadium, but they do get it done thanks to a 37-34 victory over the New York Giants. Mike McCarthy on the sidelines for what was a total team win. Here's what he had to say after the victory.
Well, first start with tough game. Obviously, see Tristan go down and then see Dak go down. Those are injuries that are an unfortunate part of our game. So I thought the team really did an excellent job hanging in there. And really, as you seen the course of our first 5 games, this is a team with a tremendous amount of fight. We're still working through some things. But I thought we did a better job today, playing some team football. So, we had to – the mistake there early, and the defense bounced back with the turnover for a touchdown, and offensively we needed to get the run game going, and I thought that was a key for us offensively, and I thought our defense, we had some things in third down there in the first half that they were productive, but I thought we did a much better job stopping the run and winning the situational battles. So tough game, a lot of ebb and flow to it, back and forth. It's as my experience has been in the past, the division games are always the toughest games, and this one was no different. So we're happy to get the win, obviously, and give us a chance to catch our breath, and got an extra day to get ready for the Arizona Cardinals on Monday night. So with that, I'll take your questions. Is it David?
Mike, can you just describe your emotions on coming off the sideline, going over by Dak? Just what was kind of going through your mind?
I could just tell the way he went down. It was of serious nature, and then when I got it was first Tristan. I knew Tristan was his injury looks to maybe be serious, and then walk up on Dak, and you knew right away that it was serious. I just I feel terrible for him. He was having a tremendous year, just my short time working with him. He's made such an impression on me, and he's clearly the leader of this football team, and I have no doubt that he'll bounce back from this, and this will be all part of his great story. This will just be another chapter in a great story. He's a fine young man and an outstanding quarterback.
Yes, Mike, can you talk about what was your message to the team after this game where, like you say, such a gruesome injury to Dak, but everyone responds and then comes back? What did you say to the team?
Well, really the message was our fight is our flight, and if you look at the 5 games that we've played in, we've had some rough moments, but every game has come down to the end, and the composure, the communication on the sidelines. I thought we were much better than we were this time last week. So by no means do we have a lot of work to do. There's still some things we can sync up better, and I think it allows everybody to perform at a faster level. So we got better. We improved today as a team. Most important thing is we won the game. But we're gonna have to make some adjustments moving forward.
Can you talk about what you got from Andy Dalton tonight?
Well, I mean, Andy come in and made the key throw there at the end. It's just the defense giving us the opportunity, and I can't say enough about the connection between him and Michael. At the most important part of the game. So that's big time football, and you got to make big plays at key moments to win games in this league, and that'll never change. And Andy did a heck of a job.
You can absolutely hear the emotion in the voice of Mike McCarthy whenever you lose a leader like Dak Prescott. But Andy Dalton made the plays he needed to down the stretch. He talked about it a minute ago. We'll talk about it next, how the veteran came in and led the Cowboys to a 37-34 win at AT&T Stadium after this. It's no easy task to come in as a backup quarterback in the NFL these days, especially when you're tabbed at leading a game-winning drive. Andy Dalton did just that. We'll talk to the backup quarterback after the game.
Maybe.
Andy, can you just start by talking about your emotions on Dak, and then just how you did respond once you got in there to play?
Yeah, you absolutely hate it for Dak. I mean, the way that he was playing this year, and everything he's put into it. I hate to see that for him. And so, it's emotional. You hate that injuries happen in this game. Unfortunately, they're part of it. And I'm definitely praying for him. It's been a lot of fun to be around him ever since I've got here, just to see how he works, see how he prepares. And you can see with just the way that he was playing this year. And so I absolutely hate it for him, and definitely am praying for him.
And then you go in there, you get sacked on the first play, but then just how you felt you and the offense responded the rest of the way after that injury.
Yeah, I think obviously the first play we would like to have a better outcome, but there was no flinch. We ended up scoring on the drive, able to finish that drive off, and then obviously the next possession or the second possession we fumbled the ball, gave them a chance, got them back in the game, and But the one thing that you've seen with this team is there's no flinch. And we've played all the way to the end in every single game. And, that's what you love about it. Everybody's playing for each other. And, today we were able to find a way to win.
Andy, when you came out on the field there a minute ago, you had a big smile on your face. Can you just describe the feeling that you had as you walked out there?
Yeah, it's like for a lot of people, you want to be in those situations. Tie ball game, get a chance to go down, 2-minute drive to win the game. And so, you want to instill confidence in everybody. I've obviously been in these situations multiple times, and so it's a lot of fun to be in those situations. And so, fun to see how everybody responded. Everybody came out, made big plays. Michael Gallup with 2 incredible plays to get us down there and get us in field goal range. And so, that's why you play this game, for moments like that.
That's what he was brought in to do, come in big-time situations and make plays. And Andy Dalton, of course, playing his high school ball in Katy, Texas, his college ball at TCU just down the road from AT&T Stadium. But guys, late in the game, a veteran quarterback. We saw the veteran side of Andy Dalton in order to lead that game-winning drive, Isaiah.
Yeah, he's a vet. Simply put, he's a vet. This dude has been to Pro Bowls in the past. He's a starting quarterback in this league, even though he has accepted the position as a backup. Listen, get it. Don't get it construed. This dude can play ball. You saw him come in. This is just another day at the office for him. He comes in, manages the game. What you guys have to pay attention to is how this team responded to when he came in. The transition was seamless. It lets you know the confidence that this entire team, especially the offense, has in him, right? The confidence that they have in him, the know-how that he's going to come in here and be efficient, take care of business. He's a game manager, man. The Cowboys are in good hands. Obviously, everybody's is disappointed and sad and thinking about Dak, but, we're in good shape with this dude.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape, and you made the great point. His connection with these receivers was on point. It was seamless. But for me, I was extremely impressed with him because I don't think people realize how hard it is when you're sitting on the bench to just get up and go in the game. His arm was cold. He really wasn't warmed up like that. And for him to go out there and have that laser-like focus to go out there and get the job done, it was extremely impressive. And so, like you said, man, the Cowboys are in good hands with Andy Dalton.
laser passes to Michael Gallup on the sideline.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And then when the players see that, they're excited, man. You got Zeke running behind his pass. You got Tony Pollard running behind his pass. Offensive line galvanized themselves, man. They were excited for this kid, man. And I'm smiling too, man. I'm back at the crib doing my thing.
And he's never had this many weapons.
Thank you.
Ever in his career, right? So you can imagine he's a kid in a candy store right now.
Yeah, he's happy to be back in the driver's seat for certain. Of course, you don't want it to be this kind of situation with what happened to Dak Prescott, but I agree with what Isaiah said. You're in good hands. And it's funny because there was only one passing touchdown in the game on either side, and it was Cedric Wilson throwing a pass to Dak Prescott. That was the only passing touchdown in the 37-34 Dallas Cowboys win over the New York Giants. And another touchdown coming on the defensive side. We hear from Demarcus Lawrence on the other side of the break as we continue on Cowboys OT. 37-34, the final score off of a 34-yard Greg Zuerlein game-winning kick. It wasn't a pretty day, though, for the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive line, but they did make some plays when needed to. Here's what Demarcus Lawrence had to say following the game.
Demarcus, you've seen a lot of football in your career. Just your thoughts on what happened with Dak there and your reaction to it.
Yeah, it's a terrible loss for our team. Sending prayers out to Dak, his family, and, for a quick, healthy recovery. It's football. Injuries come, and it's all about, keeping your head up and getting better from it.
When you see your main guy go down, like that, how hard is it just to kind of regroup as a team and move forward?
Like I said earlier, it was a hard blow, to our emotion, to our team. And it was really all about the next man up, being able to support 14 and come out with the win.
What was the difference in the defense, in your opinion, this week? Looked like your guys were all flying around, including yourself, trying to get after the ball or get after the ball carrier.
We knew what was at stake. This is a division game. We know Jason Garrett was coming back in town, and he was looking for a win on this stage, and it was up to the defense not to let that happen. And just playing in the game, I feel like we still got a lot to do, and we can keep getting better.
Demarcus, what is it about Dak, how you've gotten to know him, that gives you so much confidence about how he'll bounce back?
Yeah, man, it's just being around him and understanding he's going to give you his all. And we knew that ever since, he came in when Tony went down. He's been giving us his all since day one, and we're going to support him through this injury, and he'll be back.
What do you make of what you went through today, but also everything this year that Dak's been through and how this will make him stronger, not just today, but everything he's gone through?
In the Bible, it says the Lord won't put you through anything you can't bear. Dak's a hell of a player, a hell of a guy. His personality is outstanding. It's all, high-flying colors with Dak, and it's really nothing bad you can say about the man. And I support him, and this team support him, and can't wait till you get back.
Y'all had a lot more luck this week in the passer than y'all have previous weeks. What do you think contributed to that today?
I ain't heard nothing you said. Say it again.
Y'all had a lot more luck rushing the passer this week compared to previous weeks. What do you think contributed to that?
It's all about stopping the run on those first, second downs, and you'll be able to get the chance to rush your passer. Just a lot of studying. The defense came together this week. We watched film together. We ate together. It's all about being able to play together. So we played. All 11 guys on defense played together today, and that's what it's all about. You can't be able to rush if you ain't covering. You can't cover if you ain't getting no rush. So it's all about playing as one, and we played as a unit today.
Did you see any difference with Noble on the sidelines in comparison to being up in the press box?
I was locked into the game. One thing I did appreciate is, in-game adjustments, the things that he's seen on the sideline, and brought it back to our attention. And the things that we seen on the field, we brought it back to his attention, and just regrouped and made hell of a decision on some calls.
And even on the defensive side of the football, you hear the sentiment from some of these team leaders on Dak Prescott and losing their quarterback due to the injury. But overall, Isaiah, this wasn't necessarily another pretty day from the defensive line, to say the least, and that's really putting it lightly.
Absolutely. The defensive line, we still have woes, fellas. We still got work to do. You still got pushed off the ball by a team that shouldn't even have been in the same conversation as you, and that's the facts. They did show up in some aspects, but then again, I keep saying you were supposed to against these guys, right? 34 points against a New York Giants team is just entirely too much. Even though you did have some bright spots in the game, you have to look internally and say, why did I allow these guys to score 34 points against me when there's going to be better offenses that I'm going to face going forward?
Yeah, overall, like you said, there's still a lot to work to do, especially on this defensive line. We saw it out there today. I mean, they got pushed back from a Giants offensive line that just wasn't that good overall. If we were going against a better team, they would have been able to pick their poison, run and pass, and we can't have that and be considered a good defense going forward. So for me, overall, yes, they did play better. We did get some splash plays out of Tank Lawrence, Jalen Smith and the boys, but we got to play better. This is not going to last long. We're going against better competition going forward in the season, so they got to step it up on that defensive side of the ball.
I say it every week, and I continue to say it. Terry, you have to play better. We lost Tristan Hill for I don't know how long. We came in with Gallup. He played all right, but in the inside, if we could ever glue that inside, the outside guys will flourish. But we will not glue the inside. And until we do that right there, they can pick their poison, like you said, Barry.
Well, and this defensive line made a couple of plays throughout the game, most notably the strip sack that ultimately ended up in the scoop and score into the hands of Anthony Brown. Speaking of Anthony Brown, though, that secondary, he was a welcome sight in the backfield as well. But what did you guys think of the secondary today, having Anthony Brown back and holding a Daniel Jones-led squad to 222 yards, Isaiah?
I think they answered their call, right? Some of the things that we talked about in the pregame show was in reference to them, coming up and putting some hands on some guys, right? And trying to be a little bit more tenacious, trying to be a little bit more physical, right? Really having that presence. And I really think, holistically, I think they did a good job. But having that number 30 out there matters, right? It matters. I mean, you can see their swag was different out there, right? They were coming up and they felt confident at the line of scrimmage, making sure that these guys stayed in their box. So I think that, number 30 being out there, Brown, I mean, way to go, man. You came out there, you saw his hustle, you saw his grit. We didn't really talk about it. We don't have to talk about the safeties getting the ball thrown over their head this week, right? Whether the communication was better on their end, whatever it was, keep it going, fellas. We need it going forward.
Yeah, overall, I feel like the secondary was a lot more sticky today. I mean, was it perfect by any means? No, it wasn't perfect, but they contested a lot of passes out there. Even the catches that were made, the guys were right there. And there wasn't a lot of missed tackles in the secondary like we've seen in the past weeks. If there was a catch, it was right down, bang, bang, live to fight another day. And you hit the nail right on the head. That communication. It was there. There wasn't a lot of just blown coverages, receivers running wide open. They were right there in sticky coverage. So I don't know if they slimmed down the playbook or whatever they did, or when Mike Nolan came down from the press box, he must have did something that got in their ears. But the coverage was very sticky today.
I said last week that this New York team was a pharmaceutical need for the Dallas Cowboys. It didn't look as clean as we wanted it to look, but hey, they cured some of the remedies on the back end as you guys talking. Like you said, it was a holy need. I don't care what it was. They finally pulled together. It looked like a secondary.
It absolutely helped out the secondary. And even though there were, like you said, some holes in the game that are going to be addressed throughout the week, you don't have a ton of time. You have a longer week, but you have DeAndre Hopkins coming into town this week in that Arizona Cardinals offense. So tough sledding for that secondary coming up here in the next couple of days. When we come back, we hear from one of the heroes on the offensive side of the football, C.D. Lamb, and we wrap things up with a 37-34 Cowboys win over the Giants in Week 5.
The Cowboys OT was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Wendy's new pretzel bacon pub cheeseburger. at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Well, it took a gritty win from the Dallas Cowboys here in Week 5, but they get it done over the NFC East rival New York Giants, 37-34. As we take a look at some of the final stats. 2 turnovers, doesn't matter. Injured quarterback in Dak Prescott. Very unfortunate for this Cowboys team. 276 yards through the air for the Cowboys. Almost half of those, though, go to CeeDee Lamb as a historic start to his career continues in Week 5. Let's hear from the rookie receiver.
How do you balance your emotions on seeing what happened to Dak and him leaving, but then this team being able to rally at the end and win this game?
Obviously, losing Dak was probably the biggest, thing that could happen to this team. But obviously, Andy was ready for the position, and he took a great role as far as a guy leading us into this victory. And we trusted him all along, and we prepared for this. We all, as a unit and an organization, you got to always have a next man up mentality. And Andy had it this game, and it brought us out a victory.
CeeDee, even if y'all do have Andy as your next man up, you developed a connection with Dak really quickly on a personal level. How tough is this?
It's very tough. Just building with Dak, especially with me being a rookie. He was a guy that I spent the majority of my time with this offseason, and he's a great guy. He means well as always, and he's a great competitor. And with us, without him right now, and for him to go through the surgery that he's about to get today, I pray and hope all is well. He go through a successful surgery, and I can't wait to see him out here on the field again.
Lamb has certainly been a bright spot for the Dallas Cowboys, but guys, no Dak Prescott moving forward. Even he had some things to say about that. But Isaiah, this is going to be a obstacle for this Cowboys team.
It's going to be an obstacle. I mean, obviously, with just a transition of power in a sense, right? But as we already mentioned on this show, Andy Dalton is prepared. He's primed. He's ready. He's proven. He is that guy, right? So Big Red is going to be there for you. This team knows that they can rely on him. There's not a question mark with this transition like there typically is when a starting quarterback goes down.
We have offensive-minded coach and Coach McCarthy. That's why he was brought in for situations like this. He can put together a game plan that would suit the young Dalton fine.
Yeah, I think overall this one's going to hurt a little bit. I mean, this is a guy who has been the heart and soul of this team, and he hasn't missed a game in 4 years. So this is going to take a little bit to get accustomed to. But I think you're right. You're right, Isaiah. I think Andy Dalton, he can step into this quarterback position, and he can lead this team. I mean, we've seen what he did when he came in for the last quarter of this game. He has a great connection with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and going forward, that's going to be extremely important because, look, going forward, we don't know how this defense is going to play. We don't know at all. So, to me, I think we got to give Andy Dalton the benefit of the doubt, and I think he'll be great going forward.
Zeke.
That's it, Zeke.
Yeah. Zeke and offensive line. Come on, let's play.
Ezekiel Elliott had 91 yards on the ground, 105 total today. He's going to be the bell cow. He has been. He's going to be even more so without Dak Prescott in the picture. Once again, thoughts and prayers to Dak Prescott as he goes through his surgery tonight following a compound fracture and a dislocation. But the Cowboys do get their second win of 2020, and they move into first place of the NFC East. For everybody involved in this Cowboys OT broadcast, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from the Star in Frisco.